Lightning like Steve McQueen. I'm in the fast lane when the light turns green. And I built tough, I ain't nothing but grit. Cause I made rugged blood, sweat, and spit. Yeah, like a horse I fly. Better push yourself in for a bumpy ride. I like to play hard, but I work harder. And I weather the storm cause I'm built stronger.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are live. This is the Freight Coach Morning Show, the top morning show in transportation, coming to you guys every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down some industry headlines and, most importantly, provide some actual insight into what you can do with all of this information. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. This is the real side of freight, ladies and gentlemen. And what do I mean by that? I mean, I only speak to transportation professionals on this show, as well as my twice-a-week long-form podcast, because I want to put the right information out there from the people who have done what you're looking to do or who are currently doing what you're trying to achieve, so you can take all of that, apply it, utilize it, and see a meaningful difference in your business and your life. It's one of the many, many reasons why I proudly fly this American flag behind me every single day. A, we're the greatest nation on earth, but B, I'm living my American dream, and I want to help each and every one of you live yours as well. It is Monday in freight. I am ready to hit the ground running here today. I already am hitting the ground running, but we're out here. We're gonna talk about some, we all know what today is, and we're gonna talk about that a little bit here. We're gonna break down some articles. We got guests coming on this week as well, and then, as always, every single Friday is Q&A day. So if you have any transportation, sales, or operations related questions, drop them in the chat on Friday's show or DM them over to me, preferably, and I will answer them live on the show. But before we go any further, as always, you guys, I got to give a shout out to my friends over at VHub. You guys, vhubapp.com. Whether you're a broker, carrier, or shipper, we all need access to trailers at some point in time, and we all enjoy making money too, right? Because that's what you get with VHub, is you can get on their platform, vhubapp.com. You can see where their repositions are, and you get paid to move those trailers. So here's a couple that they're working on right now, you guys. They have San Bernardino, California, needing to get to Columbus, Ohio. You get $990 US to move that, you guys. And that's for a 53-foot swing door. And now they have 10 trailers in San Diego, which is Ron Burgundy's hometown, needing to get to Shanahan, Illinois. And you get $620 US for that, you guys. And that's a 53-foot swing door. And then they also have some more 17 53-foot swing doors picking up in San Diego, needing to go to Forest Park, Georgia. And you get $990 US to do that. And then if you're looking for anything getting into Canada, they have Evansville, Wisconsin, getting to Mississauga, Ontario for $500 as well. So hit them up, vhubapp.com. My man, Zach Lonergan, my friend, Stacy Steen, they'll be in the audience. Just do me a favor. Let them know that the Freight Coach sent you. April Maroney, what is up? Get that business. You are correct. Buenos dias, Adolfo. ¿Cómo estás, señor Tono Lippi? Tono, dude, it's been a minute, bro. Good to see you on the show, man. Bill McIntyre, good morning. Corey Buchan, good morning. Zena in the house, good morning and happy Monday. Cole Mikulik, what's up, my dude? Erica Hamilton, good morning and happy, beautiful Monday today. Yeah, so, we all know what today is, and it is an absolute tragedy that happened. And I'm not going to talk about the where I was style thing, but, it's one of those days that, I saw a post this morning that I think summarizes it perfectly. I think it was Dakota Meyer who said this a while ago on a podcast, and I never want another September 11th, but I would do anything for another September 12th. And I saw another post about it this morning about how that day everyone was a fucking American, right? And they still are today, right? But like, everyone proudly flew their flag. Everyone was united. Everyone was on the same page for, at least in my lifetime. And I think that that's what a lot of this stuff, really, really means to me, is, again, like, being an American is the greatest gift ever, like ever. Obviously being born, I get all of that, but like, having all the opportunities that we have and what everybody does to make this country, is it's tough to like summarize it in words and stuff, because I'm at a loss for words on a lot of stuff like this, because like where we are today, as a country, to me, it's very concerning, right? I have a young son, and I think that no matter what, um, without a couple of exceptions, because I don't talk politics very much on this show, but like no matter what, like I don't care if you're left or right or anything like that. Freedom and loving of your country, being proud to be an American, I'm going to live by that every single day, right? Like, I'm not going to shy away from that. I'm going to always fly the American flag. It's in my office in multiple spots. It was the first thing I did when I bought my house. Before I even walked in the door, I hung my American flag out there because I am unapologetically proud to be an American. And I'm unapologetically a man of God, a man of faith, and I won't shy away from any of that. And you guys shouldn't either in any of your beliefs, right? Like, you should live by those every single day. And I think like that's always the greatest way of honoring um everything, all the men and women who've sacrificed, made the ultimate sacrifice and served this country and everything. Cause I all think that they're correlated at the end of the day. And it's like living to your absolute best standards to honor everybody is, I think, like the way that all Americans should be, right? Like I think like at the end of the day, freedom is the only way. We might not agree on a lot of stuff, but I don't want to see anybody lose their freedom. I don't want to see anybody lose their right to say whatever the fuck they want and live their life the way that they ever, to live their life whatever way that they choose fit. I think like the day you turn 18, you can make any fucking decision you want for yourself. And I think that you can run with that. And I think that there's a lot of people who fought for us to get to here. And I don't want to see us waste this with the current climate that's out there right now. Cause there's no, this is one of the most turbulent times that I think I've ever lived through in today's day and age. And when you see a lot of people are all gonna, like I saw some people posting Patriots Day and everybody's proud to be, you need to be proud every fucking day to be an American. That's what I think. We need to be proud every fucking day to be an American. You need to live your life to the fullest, and that's paying the honor for everyone who has laid down their lives out there. And that's just kind of my little thing on this day. I mean, obviously, nobody's ever going to. I'm never going to forget this for the rest of my life and everything else. But it's not about me. It's about what can I do to become a better person, a better example of and then live this opportunity that we have here to the fullest and protect this great nation at all costs, to ensure that the next generation, my children, and for those of you out there who are listening to this who have children and everything else, we got to fucking protect what we have here and keep it this way so we can truly get back to living free and growing up in the America and having that sense of pride that everybody had on September 12th. As April Maroney pointed out here, feeling emotional about seeing all the flags flying on the 12th, huge sense of pride that we weren't going to allow this to anything to tear us apart. 100%. We have to get back to that. Proudly fly that fucking flag outside of your house, on your vehicles, everything else. I have it on my swag. I have all that shit because I am fucking proud to be an American. Just like a lot of you, I had multiple generations of my family fight for this, for me to have this opportunity to do what I'm doing right now. And that all of that is possible because of all of that. So again, at the end of the day, you guys, that's live your life, be free, be a free human being. Fuck what anybody else thinks. If you're an adult, if you're 18, you can make whatever decision you want. We just have to unite. We have to unite more and understand that not everybody's going to agree with us at all point in times, but that doesn't make for a very fun conversation, right? But we should all agree that we need to protect everyone's the First Amendment at all costs, the freedom of speech, freedom of all that shit and everything else, because that's what makes America great. And then all the citizens abiding by that and upping their personal standards and everything else. So that's what I'll say on that. Sydney Thiessen, good morning from Phoenix. Cody Miller, dude, what's up, brother? Happy fucking Monday morning, freight enthusiast. Let me see here. Nydia, I like that. I like what she put out there. I'm not going to sing it all out here for you guys. Maybe I will, right? Maybe one day, Nydia, I'll come up here and sing that. Tiffany Davenport, happy Monday. Never forget. Yeah, it's also driver appreciation week this week, you guys. So just like with anything, don't just regulate it to this week, right? Just like with everything that September 11th is, the day of remembrance, the day of being proud to be. Live that way every day, just like you should. I mean, fuck, it's, driver appreciation week. You should thank drivers every day. You should thank everybody who makes your life easier. Any opportunity that you get, whether it's the store clerk checking you out, whether it's any of that stuff, right? You should be thanking everybody, and especially our drivers, and a lot of this shit, it does, holds a special place in my heart because I come from a family of truck drivers, right? At the end of the day, I've been around this industry my entire life proudly. And, there's a lot of jobs out there that make a lot of sacrifices and everything else. But, it's undeniable that without our drivers and the supply chain and everybody else making this work, we wouldn't have any of this shit here. So, take a moment, next time, and it's not even on this week. Maybe next time you're out on a road trip and you're stopping at a truck stop to you're getting gas and maybe, grabbing your favorite road trip snacks. I'm a big beef jerky guy. And you see a driver out there, buy their cup of coffee, buy them a cup of coffee. Maybe, see if you can get them a gift card to the Loves or the TA or something like that, so they can use that for shower credits or whatever. Just little things like that, and I understand times are tough for people, but you know what? I think that there's always, a little bit more we can do, because like all the help that we want is going to come from us. It starts with you, right? So I think that's the best way, and it does go a lot of that, like brokers, and we got a lot more that we can do from this driver appreciation aspect of things too. Ask yourself this: when's the last time, honestly, you thanked a driver for hauling a shipment for you? When's that? If you can't answer that, that's where you can start right there. Is thanking those drivers every single time, because they are a fucking reason why you have a paycheck, right? And I think that just goes a long way. It's just saying thanks goes a long way. So it's like, if you don't have the monetary resources or anything like that, or you don't know what to do, saying thank you goes a long fucking way. Showing a lot of respect to those people says a lot. And again, I just go off of this based off of my experience in inside of my brokerage, right? And for those who saw the post that I put out there this morning about people need to be more concerned about what's going on in their business, that's what I mean by a lot of this shit is everyone's so like, oh, look at what that company, who fucking cares what that company did? What are you doing to make your business better, right? And that's one thing that I can say inside of my organization, that every single shipment that we do, we always thank the driver. We always thank everybody who makes this shipment possible and made it possible, because they're an extension of us no matter what. And respect goes a long fucking way in this world. Billy Like, what is up? Good morning. Adolfo says, yep, keeping them out on the road. We should be kind every day. Your bad day is not their fault. Never go in public if you're not ready to celebrate other victories and say thank you for the service and make their days. I just look at it like this, Adolfo. It's you don't even need to, like, it's just being polite, right? Like, be polite, kind, however you want to, spin it. It just goes a long fucking way. It really does. Amen, Sonny. And then Tono says, I'll be slinging burgers at the Haugen, Montana weigh station on Wednesday for all the truckers at the scale. Excited to shake some hands and say thanks. I love it. That's awesome, Tono. That's good to see. All right, let's get into a couple of articles here, you guys. We're going to talk. The first one we're going to talk about here is from the JOC, and this is just a timely reminder of this as well, as we are heading into peak season here. Or if you just want to call it holiday freight, you can call it holiday freight as well. JOC.com, U.S. truckload sector picks up pace to meet rising threat of cargo theft. And this one came from my man, Eric Johnson. A sharp increase in truckload cargo theft this year has prompted a range of transportation entities to offer solutions to a growing problem. That includes nefarious activities such as load board fraud and physical pilferage. Haven't heard that word in a while, of freight. Freight broker Convoy on Thursday released a new product that identifies everything from improper double brokering to outright theft. Convoy developed this product in-house over the past 9 months. And then we fundamentally disagree with the idea that theft has to be an endemic, Ryan Gist said. Even one theft is significant for the shipper that's affected. We're focusing on zero theft. The extent of the theft problem has prompted a response from industry in recent months. The widely used load boards DAT and TruckStop have publicly committed to stopping instances of fraud on their platforms. In many cases, physical theft originates via elaborate schemes that involve double brokering or carriers using phony identities to reestablish themselves under a new operating number. Beyond that, let me see, logistics company. I'm just kind of monitoring, then it goes on to say that the heists are growing larger. Overhaul's most recent cargo theft report found 132 thefts were recorded in the US in the second quarter, up 15% year over year. The average loss of value of theft was $428,000, up 55% from Q1. What Overhaul calls deceptive pickups accounted for 24% out there. Cargo theft is happening nationwide, but the hotspots for activity are primarily California, Texas, Florida, and Georgia. TruckStop wrote in its cargo theft trends blog, and the number of reported thefts continues to increase. However, one of the biggest problems with these statistics is cargo theft continues to be highly underreported to both CargoNet and the FBI. The blog highlighted the extent to which enforcement is aware of the rising volume of cargo crimes, common types of cargo theft, theft methods. All right. There's a misconception in the freight market that the law enforcement is unaware of or unconcerned out there. TruckStop said in their blog, local and federal officials are keenly aware of the exponential rise. And then Gist of Convoy said, it's great if we can mitigate our exposure, but we also want others to see what we flagged. Again, this is it's a very timely article, right? And again, the company that I'm associated with, Broker Carrier, we take all of this very, very seriously, but we also, that's the expectation, right? Keeping our company, our users safe is the expectation. We're not marketing on that's our only way about it. Like we do, that is the expectation. If you have a piece of software for onboarding and everything else, that is the expectation, is bringing a lot of this information to light. But on top of that, it goes further than that, right? Like you're like, what do you do outside of that? For us, it's always about capacity management, right? You already have them onboarded. You already know they are a legitimate carrier. And for that point alone, you should be using in-network carriers. I am a fan of load boards to a point, right? Like they're a crutch. They're not a necessity. So when you find that carrier that's trusted, that picks up on time, that delivers on time and everything else, why are you constantly going out there to the fucking market looking to make an extra $100 on a load? Because that's what you're all fucking doing, right? That's all that you're doing with that. How do I know that? I've been in the industry for a long fucking time. And guess what? I used to fucking act that way. And it never paid off, ironically. So for me, it's always about reusing in-network carriers. And I know that you're like, oh, how does that help with theft? How does it help with theft? Well, when you have repeated business working on out there, you've identified them, you verified all of that information, that they're legitimate, they have the trucks who they say they are, the drivers, you develop those relationships. A lot of that stuff lessens. I'm never going to say it goes away because shit happens. And I'm not a fucking eye in the sky or head in the cloud fucking optimist. I'm a very much of a fucking realist that, you know what? There are a couple of bad people out there, but instead of punishing every fucking trucking company out there for the egregious acts of a few, that's why Broker Carrier exists, is to highlight the right companies, to put them in contact with you so you can continue to work with them. In regards to cargo theft, I got to point out something that my man Eric wrote in here. All of those primary hotspots are the same fucking hotspots every fucking year. Okay. California, Texas, Florida, Georgia, every fucking year. They're the top of the food chain out there. They're talking about the single theft of loads, $428,000, for example. Where do you think that comes from? What type of commodities does that come from, right? So again, take that into consideration as you're hauling freight. A lot of shippers out there, a lot of customers out there have a step-by-step SOP laid out there that you need to do. I personally think there needs to be a greater emphasis on, because I look at it like this. Knowing what I know about the industry, hauling high fucking value loads, talking about $1 million cargo value loads, high visibility shit. I am not convinced that there isn't somebody on the inside who's feeding off information on a lot of this stuff. I personally think that's where the biggest thing needs to be stopped. It really does, because, a couple of years ago, I don't know if you guys know this or remember this, but I remember this scene vividly in an article that I broke down about people that popped the seal on a fucking rail car in Los Angeles and just happened to find out that one just was loaded with TVs. That's not an accident. All right. We need to be more real about a lot of this shit. And that's probably what it is because you know what? Some of these individuals who, maybe they're in a bad spot, or, somebody comes in and offers them $5,000 in cash that says, hey, I know you work at this place. Let me know when one of these loads goes. And then it just grows and grows and gets a little bit out of hand. Maybe it's the security guard. I don't know. But I'm not convinced that it is not an inside job that causes the majority of this stuff. All right. Because again, how do you know? Right? Like, how do you just randomly pick that one thing out? And I know all the street level criminals that are out there are very aware of what warehouses have what inside of them. I get that. But again, I think that there needs to be a pretty solid emphasis on that out there, because I think that would help a lot in these instances. But again, do more. Talk to these facilities, right? Call the shippers, call the receivers, have actual conversations with the drivers about what the expectations are. Don't just slide them in on your rate con and threaten to reduce their rate when you don't even fucking bring it up to them in the first place. So that article was out at the JOC. Sydney, I will put the link to this article and every article on my YouTube channel, as well as the Coffee with the Freight Coach audio only replay on iTunes and Spotify. I'll put all the links up there for you guys to click on, because I want you guys to read all of your own, all of these articles and formulate your own opinion on that. Nick Erdman, great point. Freight at rest, is freight at risk. Lock it up. Zach Lonergan, it's much harder to steal from people you know or do. Yes. Amen to that, Zach. Amen to that. Let's see here. All right. Next article we are going to break down on this day to day. Of course, Sydney, of course. It is from fleetowner.com. Survey says, sorry, it just says survey. Brokers optimistic about 2024 despite weak freight rates and demand. Demand for freight hauling still lags. Spot market rates have stayed well below their 21 and 22 performance and even their 5-year averages despite a recent uptick. But brokers remain optimistic about 2024 and said in a recent survey they are optimistic about their prospects over the next 6 months. The semi-annual survey commissioned by Bloomberg and Load Board Truck Stop sampled 184 freight forwarders, 3PLs, broker agents, and asset and non-asset-based brokerages. Most respondents, 61%, have up to 50 employees. Broker agents made it the biggest group, 34%, followed by non-asset-based brokers at 28 and 3PL. I'm an agent. That's where my brokerage is from, is SPI Logistics. I'm a freight agent through them. You guys should hit them up if you want to take control of your financial future. Anyways, back to the article. Despite fewer spot opportunities and moderate economic activity, brokers remain fairly optimistic, said Lee Klaskow, a senior freight and transportation analyst at Bloomberg. And then freight broker sentiment is becoming less bleak, and spot rate conditions might be nearing the bottom, and an economic soft landing may be achievable. Analysts have been saying that the spot market is at or near bottom for months, but total spot rates and those for the 3 major segments of freight hauling, drive-in, refrigerated, and flatbed, don't show much sign of sustained improvement, though they've experienced a small recent uptick, according to the most recent data provided by Truck Stop and industry aggregator FTR Transportation Intelligence. Other data showing similarly shabby. All right. And then let's see here. It goes on to say, hope about the spot market and demand. Despite the spot market's poor performance, brokers do have a glimmer of hope on demand. According to that, about 46% said volume fell in the first half of 23 compared to a year earlier. I'm just summarizing a lot of this stuff, you guys, because we all know what happened in 21 and 22, and there's a lot of correlations on why, when you're looking at comparisons why it's down so much. So I don't want to beat that horse. We've talked about that enough. Spot rate sentiment is like the rates themselves seen bouncing off the bottom. Rates excluding fuel surcharges have fallen 31% since the peak and are down 13% since last year. Brokers have become more optimistic on the outlook out there. I think brokers, and it goes on to say, brokers are also feeling better gross margins. About 37% of survey respondents saying they had a lower gross margin in the first half of 23 than a year earlier. Despite the declines, brokers remain optimistic about gross margins out there. Let me see here. And all right. So, and then it goes on to talk about some of the rates, what things are looking out there as well. I think and again, this is only inside of my book of business. I'm seeing a lot more opportunities make their way out there to the spot market. A lot of my friends who own freight brokerages, who I speak to very often, who've been on this show a lot, have agreed with that sentiment. And it also comes with the fact that rates are starting to rise out there as well. Is it going to be a cataclysmic rise overnight? Probably not. But you need to start paying attention to a lot of this stuff, you guys, because this is the strategy for the long term, because the market is closer to flipping than not at this point. And I want you guys to all be aware of that. All the freight that I'm moving right now, you guys, for example, because for those of you who are getting in the door, price is a factor right away. Right? There's no other way to say it. You get in the door, it's price is a factor on it. Again, I use green screens literally 75,000 times a day. Not 75,000. That's a lot. Someone's going to be like, that's not possible. But anyways, I use them every single day for every single load that I bid. And I'm using green screens all the time to bid on everything from RFPs to single lane quotes, partials, full truck, literally everything out there, you guys. You need to find that right now because the rates are changing. Yesterday's rates are not going to move freight today. Okay. Not as the market shift, not as the holidays come. So you need a partner like Green Screens. You guys truly do. Hit them up. All right. Hit them up. They're all over social media or DM me. I will put you in direct contact with them. But as you're navigating through a peak holiday season, which we're going to be going through, right? Like, I don't think that there's enough chatter out there about what could possibly happen here in peak season for the holidays, right? Yes, I've seen the inventory reports. I've seen all of that, but that doesn't mean that people aren't going to pay more money to get their shit moving. So you need to take that into consideration here. And especially if you're on a spot market relationship, you don't have published rates for them. You need to have the most up-to-date and accurate information. So that's why, again, I use green screens every single day, and I highly advise you guys to reach out to them and really look into your pricing strategy here moving forward, because the market is shifting a lot more than a lot of people are talking about in the media side of things. But the people who I know who are on the front lines actually moving the freight, they're painting a very different tune than what's being reported out there, you guys. So I look at it like this: for the brokers that are optimistic about 2024, maybe those are the ones who have committed to a carrier strategy, and they've been overpaying those drivers right now to keep them moving exclusively for them. Because when the market flips, you guys, it's not going to be the same prices. Capacity is going to dry up. Everything's going to be out there. So if you're optimistic with your head in the fucking clouds right now, and you think that you can post $1 a mile and still get shit done, you're going to have a rude awakening. Consider it this way: your boy's giving you a 7-month heads up on probably when the market is actually going to be quote unquote flipped in the media. Okay. Here's my assumption. I'm going to wrap up the show on this. There's going to be a glimmer of hope of a peak season throughout the holidays to end 2023. 2024 Q1 is going to kick off and it's going to be flat. Volume's going to be down. Rates are going to be down like it is in almost every single first quarter out there. Quarter 2, produce season, when that kicks off typically around March, that's when things are going to start to change. I truly feel that way. I think next year is going to be a very reflective year about how the freight markets generally operate in that regard. But I think that rates are going to rise next year, and there's going to be a hell of a lot more. Mark my words, around this time, not around this time, I would say around June of next year, all the headlines are going to read tender rejections at an all-time high. Just watch, because people are bidding low right now thinking that it isn't going to shift much. And then it's going to read tender rejections are at an all-time high. See, this is why I need a Jamie that a Joe Rogan has, so I can say, mark my fucking words. And then June 1st, we can pull that up. But hey, you guys, that's going to be it. John Radvansky, amen. Relationships matter for sure. Deborah Loud, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate that. But that's going to be it for today, you guys. We'll be back tomorrow. Like I said, I got some guests on this week. We're going to be breaking that down. Friday is the Q&A day. But as always, if you guys got value in the show, subscribe to it. You guys over on YouTube, audio on the replay on iTunes and Spotify, because if you see value, that's how we reach more people, because your network will see value as well. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and we'll be talking to you soon.